Giriraj looked at Prabhupada. He was lying in his bed. And he said tears were just pouring down Prabhupada's face as he heard this bhajan. So it's quite long, so we'll skip a few verses and just sing some of the main ones. So you can look that up on your device. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Sri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Bolo Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Shama Gauri Nitya Kishori Vitama Jori Sri Radhe. Rasika Rasilo Chela Chavilo Gunagara Vilo Sri Krishna. Rasa Viharini, Rasa Vistarini, Iya Uradarani, Sri Radhe. O Nava Nava Rangi, Navala Trivangi, Shamasu Angi, Sri Krishna. Pranabhiyari Rupa Ujari Atikumuhari Sri Radhe. O Naina Manohar Mahamudakar Sundaravatar Bala Sri Krishna. Naina Manohar Shobhaseni Mohameni Kokilaveni Sri Radhe. Parama Udara Prabha Upara Ati Sukumara Sri Krishna. Hansa Gamani Rajatara Ramani Shira Kamani Sri Radhe. Rupa Rasala Nayana Bishala Parama Kripala Sri Krishna. Shaktiyaladini Ati Priyavarini Uru Unmadani Sri Radhe. Anga Anga Tona Sarasa Salona Suvagasutona Sri Krishna. Radha Namini Guna Abhiramini Sri Hari Priya Swamini Sri Radhe. Oh Hare 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 Sri Krishna Hare 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 Sri Krishna. Oh Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe. Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna. Bolo Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe. Oh Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna. So sometimes devotees ask, why do you do that? Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham. But actually there's Shastra Praman for this. Did I explain this before? Yes. Some people say no. I'll explain it again anyway. Because sometimes we go some places where there's not running water, there's not even a hand pump, there's only a well. And you all live in big cities now, so you don't know the village technology. Everybody says, what's so difficult? You tie a rope around the handle to the bucket, and you throw the bucket in the water and pull the water out. And so they do like that. They tie the rope around the handle of the bucket, they throw the bucket, and the rope was going through their hands. Ooh. Now bucket, rope, and everything gone in the well. You all know this smartphone, iPhone, Blu-ray, all this modern technology, but you don't know gown technology. That's not how you do it. There's a big knot at the end of the rope, and you tie it to the handle of the bucket, and you throw the bucket, like that, and then pull it up. So now bucket, rope, and everything gone in the well. So we have to give 200 rupees to the ashram to buy a new bucket and rope. No, this happens so often, so that every ashram has a rope with so many hooks on it. So, because if we want to get something from a deep place, then we need a hook to go down and hook it. And then we hook onto the handle of that bucket and bring everything up. So this Ra Akshar, or especially this English Ra, he's just like a hook. And according to Sangeet Shastra, when you say this sound, Ra, Ra, you can feel it, it goes down, no? Ra. Ra. So we send that hook down. Where this body is like a big well. but not full of water, full of pop, sin. So we send that hook down, Ra, and we hook all that pop. Then the next letter is aspirated, coming out. Radhe. So according to Sangeet Shastra, that sound goes up. You can feel it, huh? Hey. Huh? So we hook all that pop. Then we pull it all out. Then Sham. When you say this Ma Akshar, then everything becomes closed. Band. You pull out all that pop. Now don't let it come back. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Out. Shyam. Now don't let it come back. So yesterday we got as far as Krishna Kund. Then on the very far corner of Krishna Kund, we see this big, huge peepal tree. We're going to go past that peepal tree. We'll put our heads and beg for his mercy. He's been there for hundreds of years. Who knows, maybe 1,000 years. He's a very old peepal tree. And beg for his mercy. We don't know who these trees are that are in Braj. And once we pass that tree, we see down below, about 10 years ago, some sadhu got some vision that there was a Ras Mandap buried. It's like a little corner, the two peaks at Morkutir, and we're going to go see Mangar, that make a little narrow area like this. So the rain always comes down. So it had been covered up by sand. And I watched 10 years ago, they dug it out and they found for sure. They were never able to complete it because the forest department came in and got into all kinds of weird politics, so it's never been completed. But there's a little Ras Mandala down there that nobody knew about. And then there's a beautiful structure like this, and beautiful flower, Madhavi and Malati flowers are covering. And we enter into this beautiful little kunj. And when we come out of the kunj, all of a sudden there's a big gateway, dwar, and some steps to go way upstairs to the top of a place called Mangar, or Man Mandir. Now Man means, when Radharani's upset with Krishna, she does Man. It's like Man with a short A, that means the heart. But Man with a long A, you take some anger and some pride and some coquettishness and some crocodile tears, and you mix it all together like an artist, and you get Man. So one time, Radha and Krishna were on top of that hill, Mangar, and it was full moon night. And Krishna was describing the beauty of Srimati Radhika. And he said her complexion was just as beautiful as the full moon. And Radharani became furious. Why she became furious? We have seen the moon has got spots. Krishna was comparing her beauty with something faulty, like the moon. Actually, moon has got 5 faults, panch dosh. First, we just said kalank, he's spotted. Second is K, he shrinks. Kai, he shrinks. Third is Banki, he's crooked, like our Banki Bihari. And fourth fault is Nisachar. We may know Nisha means night. And Achar means behavior, just like we tried to go to Vrindavan and learn how some Vaishnava Achar. But Nisachar means whose behavior is to come out at night. Who comes out at night? Rakshas. And when does the moon come? Nighttime, just like a Rakshas. And fifth fault is Vishabandhu. Because we know when they churned the ocean of milk, they not only got nectar, but first Vish, poison, came out. And also Utesrava, Airavata, and moon also came. So he's born from the same place as Vish. So he's Vishabandhu, relative of the poison. Just like the devotee, they name their children, Visvambar, Viswajit, Viswajivan, Viswanath, all these nice names. But what do their friends call them, especially in the West? Oh, Vish. All the Vishwasis always turn around and I feel so embarrassed, People ask me what to name their children. I said, don't worry about what you're going to name them. Worry about what their friends are going to call them. So he's born from the same place as poison. So he's Vishabandhu. And if that wasn't enough, what do we call the moon in Sanskrit? Chandra. Sounds too much like one of Radharani's competitors. So for all these reasons, she became furious. And she ran away and hid. And left Krishna lamenting like anything. So much so that even the rocks were melting, hearing his lamentation. After a while, Radharani returned, but she was dressed up like Krishna. And Krishna said, hey, who are you? And Radharani said, I'm Krishna, who are you? Krishna said, I'm the real Krishna, who are you? Radharani said, I'm the real Krishna, who are you? And Krishna says, you're the Nakli Krishna, I'm the real Krishna. Radharani said, you're the counterfeit Krishna, I'm the real Krishna. This way they were arguing. Then Radharani said, well, if you're the real Krishna, then where's your Srimati Radharani? And Krishna said, I'll play my flute, you'll come, you'll see. So he played on his flute. No Radharani came. He played a second time on his flute. No Radharani came. Third time he played so enchanting melody on his flute, Radharani could no longer maintain her disguise, and Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Radharani standing right in front of him. And he grabbed Radharani's hand, and behind Barsan is Unchakam, the village of Lalita Sakhi, and they went there to see if Lalita Sakhi can tell who is Radha and who is Krishna. Sri Sri Radha Krishna ki jai. So now we come back down the stairs and we're going to go through a beautiful forest called Gevarvan. Just like we said, some people call that Kund, Gevarkund, because that is the beginning of the forest on the backside of Barsana, Gevarvan. And it's composed mainly of a type of tree, the Brishvasis call it Dhau. Dhau. D-H-A-U. We never see these trees down below in the plain where there's plenty of drink. Only on top of the hills where there's no water, it's dry. All the water will run down, no? But that's the only place you find these trees. On top of Govardhan, you'll see them. On Nandagam, you can also see in some places. And in Barsana, a whole forest of no trees. And in the rainy season, they become very beautiful. Fresh new leaves come out, looking just like little emerald drops. And then after some time, little yellow topaz flowers will come. Little tiny flowers. Then toward the end of the rainy season, those flowers turn into little red ruby seeds. So emerald leaves, topaz flowers, ruby seeds. And then, if you go there in December, you will see all gold leaf trees. And if you come there now, it's January, then you'll see all copper leaf trees. Tambupati. And if you come at Gaur Purnima time, then you won't see any leaves. But the bark is very light colored. And Gaur Purnima, Falgun means now it's starting to get hot. And the sun is very stiff. So it shines on that bark, looks like a whole forest of silver filigree trees. Very, very mystical forest. And the hotter it gets, then the wind, then Krishna turns on his fan. And there's always this beautiful wind up there. And blowing through the little branches, leafless branches of the trees, you hear the sweet sound. Every once in a while we see one of the original trees of Braj. You won't ever see any leaf on this tree. Only green twigs and very, very sharp thorns. We call this a kareel. This is the original tree of Braj. When they're in Dwarka, and Rohini, who was also in Braj, or anybody speaks about Braj, then Kansa's mother, Padmavati, she becomes very angry. Why do you want to talk about that old thorn forest? That old kareel forest, And the poor guy was hungry. He took a little butter and they pulled his ear and chased him with a stick and tied him with a rope. Why do you want to talk about that old thorn forest? So this is the tree she's referring to. And just before Kartik, it becomes filled with reddish orange flowers. Just like because the branches are all thin little green twigs that turn around and twist like this. So fountains of flowers. Fountains of little reddish orange flowers. Then by the end of Kartik, they fall and little green beads come. And they grow into little fruits we call tanti. The Brishvasis say, Kabul ka mewa or Braj ka tanti. This is our dry fruit of Braj. So they make a special achar out of this called tanti achar. If you ever go to a Brishvasi's house and they serve you roti, and you see this achar that looks like great big peas, that's tanti achar. This is their favorite. So we'll see a few of those there also. They also like to grow in dry place. And one special thing, if you're in the right consciousness, because you can pick up some rocks. Ordinarily, you hit one rock with another rock, then it goes clack, 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 clack. But if you're in the right consciousness and you pick up the right stone and you hit it on a big stone, then you hear ding, 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 just like Nupur. Very mystical forest. So we travel all the way through this forest up to the top, a little place called Dangar. And there's a beautiful small temple of Radhadan Bihari. There's a very small, darkish, Krishna's made from some darkish metal, I'm not sure, and Radharani's made from brass, and they're very small and very sweet. And we used to have to just stand there in the sun, taking darshan. But one devotee from Delhi, named Vedyas Das, whose business is Prakash tubes, these big tube lights. That's his company, Prakash tubes. So he built a beautiful covering there, over the darshan mandap and another floor on top, and remodeled the whole temple room and nice singhasan. So now we can stand in the shade and hear this pastime and take wonderful darshan. And ordinarily, the pujari, his name is Gopal. Previous one was named Radhi Radhi Baba, but he's left this world. So his son Gopal is there. And ordinarily they don't allow devotees to take pictures. But if I'm there, he always allows. The big sign is there. It's funny, you take the picture and you got a sign there, so there's no photos. But he's always very kind to me when we come. Because we know we're all Vaishnavas, we won't mistreat those photos. So we take darshan of this beautiful Dan Bihari. So what happened, we just mentioned that behind Barsana there's another hill called Unchagam. And in Unchagam, there lived very poor Brahmin, just like me. And just like me, he had a very beautiful daughter who was marriageable age. So for our foreign devotees, I have to explain what this means, but you can understand, if you have a beautiful daughter and you're very poor, this is a great anxiety. Because not only do you raise and feed and clothe and educate and train your daughter how to serve her husband the rest of life, when you want to get her married, you have to give money also. Nowadays it's abused, but it's very scientific. They're starting out life, they need so much, a little head start. It's very scientific. But of course it's being abused, so we're against the abuse of the system, but a scientific system. So if you're very poor and you have a very beautiful daughter, this is a big anxiety. Because fathers, they're very attached to the daughters. I know I have one. And if they can't find a proper husband for their daughter, they will suffer for the rest of their lives. And not like me, he had a wife whose tongue was like a razor blade. Always cutting him. What kind of Brahmin are you? Get some dhan, get some charity, arrange the wedding of your daughter. What kind of Brahmin are you anyway? You're just cutting him. One day she said, I'm not going to cook, I'm not going to clean, I'm not even going to let you back in the house. You go out and get some dhan and arrange the wedding of your daughter, or you don't come home. So he thought, oh, what to do? So he thought, well, Krishna, he's Deena Bandhu. He's the friend of the poor. He will certainly help me. He must be there in Gavarvan with Radharani. So he came there to Gavarvan, and Radharani and the Sakhis and Krishna were all there. And Krishna greeted him very nicely because he likes Brahmins. And the Brahmin explained his problem, and Krishna said, Are bhai, now what am I supposed to do? All the money's with Nanda Baba and Nandaga. I'm just a poor cowherd boy here with my girlfriends in Barsana. Everything is there with Nanda Baba. Now what am I going to do? And that Brahmin began to cry. Now we know Krishna doesn't like to see the Brahmins unhappy. We sing every day, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitata. He likes to see cows and Brahmins very happy, hit. So Krishna thought for a minute. He said, well, I don't have any money, but I have one priya. A priya means dear. And in British English, dear means something very, very costly. The British, they say, oh, it is so dear. So Krishna, he made sankalp and he gave Radharani in charity to that Brahmin. Now that Brahmin really began to cry. He said, first of all, I have one daughter, I can't get her married. Now you gave me a second one. Now my wife is going to kill me. And Radharani said, but you know, Sham, I can't live 1 second. No, I've given charity to Brahman, now I cannot touch. Shyam Sundar, you know, 1 second I can't live with them. No, I in Charity Brahman I can't touch. And Radharani began to cry. And seeing Radharani crying, all the Sakhis began to cry. Now everybody's crying. So Krishna thought for a minute. He's all right, you bring one scale. Not like in your bathroom at home, but like when you go to buy your fruit in Vrindavan. Tarjun. And he put Radharani on one side, and he told all the Sakhis, now you put all your silver and gold and diamond and pearl and bangle and necklace and nose pin and ear pin and everything, you put it on the other side. Now if you go to the big temple in Delhi, in Sant Nagar, there's a beautiful Prikrama Marg, and right behind, when that made just as much as the body of Srimati Radhika, then he gave all that gold and silver and pearl and diamond to that Brahmin. That Brahmin became very happy. Haribo, Haribo! He ran after Uttagaon to arrange the wedding of his daughter. And Radharani became very happy. And seeing Radharani happy, all the Sakhis became very happy. In one stroke, Krishna Chandra made everyone very happy. Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki jai. So this is Dangar. And before, when we were coming on the path yesterday, we saw the hill Bilaskar. So we can look across, we see in Bilaskar, there's a big structure like this. And we call it Jula, but in Hindi they say, or in Brisbane they call it Hindol. This is on top of Bilaskar. And what happened was, especially in Shravan, at least in northern India, I don't know if it's common in South India, especially during Shravan, the young girls go home to their father's house. So ordinarily Radharani, she's staying in Javat, which is very close to Dandagan. But during Shravan, then she comes to Barsana to stay with her father. Now she's very far from Krishna. So one time, it was the Kadasi of Shravan month, and all the Sakhis, they brought Radharani to that hill, and they sat her in the swing, and they began to swing her, because in Shravan, the rainy season, especially in the evening, cool breeze is blowing. Very pleasant for swinging. This Radharani was quite sad, because Krishna is far away. Jai Jagannath Swami ki jai. So suddenly, on that same path that we just came on, they saw some very beautiful Sakhi, unknown Sakhi, coming down the path. With her sari very chastely over her face like this, just peeking a little. And so Radharani, she saw that Sakhi, she said, call her here. So they brought her to that place. And Radharani said, oh, my dear sister, why are you standing far away? Come sit with me. So this very beautiful, dark gopi, she sat down right next to Krishna. Right next to Radharani. So you may have guessed by now who our new Sakhi is. Very dark Sakhi. So he's got his desire. He's sitting right next to Srimati Radhika. His heart was going ping, 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 ping. He fainted. And all the Sakhis ran and they began to play. Oh, what happened? What happened? So here we know, on a woman, that would be a very soft place, but it was hard. Something hard was there. And Lalita Sakhi reached inside and pulled out Krishna's flute. Then they opened up the gungat and they saw that it is actually Krishna Chandra. And from the Kadasi day up to the Balaram Purnima, they were swinging Radha and Krishna there on that Hindol. And we'll see in front of Dan Bihari's also a beautiful Hindol is there. And one time, Tamal Krishna came there with his disciples, and Radha Bihari were not in the temple room, they were in the hindole swinging very sweetly. There's two big, the big column like this with a big pole, and you can hang the swing on that, and they swing. So immediately he ordered his disciples get one outfit made for this deities. Because when we come to Braj, we shouldn't come just like a tourist, just to see things. You come with the mood to love seva. Just like there was one lady who used to come with me. She's from Mauritius, but she lives in Toronto. Mauritius is nice, warm place. Lives in Toronto where it's freezing cold and snowing. Now she lives in Vrindavan because she'd always come, and she would bring especially, they paint Radha Bihari, his face, with all kinds of little gopidas, with chandan and kapoor and so many things. So she would, and kesar, saffron. So she would always bring little packets of saffron to give to it in her favorite temple. So she always, especially Bihari, she would give a little packet of saffron. So we should always come with a view to do service. We can serve, Krishna Balaram has a beautiful goshala, you can serve the cows. The deities are amazing there, you can serve the deities. We have a whole department, devotee care. You can serve the Vaishnavas because none of us older devotees have any medical expense. Temple is taken care from the devotee care department. So you can serve the Vaishnavas. Always come with the mood of service. So now we come to one of the other peaks. Just there's a big tall wall, and we leave Bihari and we come to Jaipur Mandir, which I explained how the king of Jaipur, Sawai Madhu Singh, he built this beautiful temple. And it's a very large palace with all rooms all around, a beautiful Prikamamar. And just before the door, there's two beautiful and enormous tulsi kambas. Very ornately carved tulsi kambas, this big. And always beehives are hanging from the roof of the temple. There, you know, where the wall comes up and the roof comes down, you see big beehives are hanging there. And inside, because Radharani wouldn't move from the main Sriji Mandir, therefore he established his own personal deities there. Radha Kushal Bihari, Radha Kushal Bihari. Kushal means happiness in the heart. So this is Radha Happy Bihari. Very, very beautiful deities. Though they never let you take pictures. They're really just watching with eyes like a crow, you know. Crows are very kagachestam, they say. For Vidyarthi, what's that? Kagachestam, Bakojanam, Kagachestam. Swanidra, Apaharani, Dviyatyagi. We in Braj they say Brahmachari Bhattalaksh. Anyway, Vidyarthi Bhattalaksh also. So crows, they're just waiting, you know. Their eyes are very clever. So, although we've managed over the years to sneak some photos of Radha Kushal Bihari. And you see a big painting there. There's one side is Sawai Madhu Singh, other side is his guru, and you'll see him with Nimbarka Tilak, as his spiritual master was coming from Nimbarka Sampradaya, and then there's a big painting of Nimbarkacharya also there. So on the left altar, because Nimbarka Sampradaya traces their lineage, their parampara, from the Hans avatar, the swan incarnation of the Lord. In old days, we used to be able to get a donation. Pujari would lift the cloth and we could see the swan, Hans Gopal's beautiful white wings and his lotus feet and everything. So this Hans Gopal, and then you see 4 Kumaras, You see 4 little heads, and then you see Nard Muni with his little Deena, because he gets around, he's in all the sampradayas. And then Nimarkacharya and his most famous disciple, Srinivas. Then on the far right altar is the king's personal deities, Nritya Gopal. Nritya means dancing, dancing Gopal. Very beautiful small deities. And the little cubby hole there, you'll see they have it all covered with cloth, but there's a rath there for doing Rath Yatra. It's a big Brikama mark, so on Rath Yatra day they take Nritya Gopal all around the courtyard in this Rath Yatra cart. And then beautiful example of Rajasthani architecture. See, the windows are filled with this lattice work, jali, just carved out of stone. It's so intricate, it's just amazing to see this. So we always have a nice kirtan there in front of Radha Kushal Bihari. And then we go out and we go around the courtyard. So many beautiful paintings is there. You see Radha and Krishna doing rasa dance, and then Krishna and Balaram together, and Krishna killing Shankachuda, and then there's Nandagam, picture of Nandagam, and then picture of Barsana with the 4 peaks, and Sankari Kaur, so many pictures, and then some picture. It looks like, Krishna and Balaram are killing some demons. I'm not sure who they are. Somebody always says Kansa, but Krishna didn't, he has a sword, but Krishna just punched him out. So I don't know what these demons are. Then there's a type of holy where they put a skirt on Krishna, and there's another picture of holy with their pitchkaris, there's Giriraj Lila, there's Chirharan Lila, and then there's one painting that's Damodar Lila Part 1 and Part 2. In the Part 1 you see Damodar stealing the butter, and Part 2 he's tied to the ukal. So Damodar Lila Part 1, Part 2. Next one is Jamastami Lila, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Krishna appearing as Vasudev before Vasudev, then Vasudev carrying him across the Jamuna, exchanging him with the daughter of Nanda Maharaj, and then Kansa smashing that child. So we have Jamastami Lila Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. And then there's a beautiful painting. You can take pictures of all these paintings, that they don't like. Wonderful painting of such cute Radharani sitting with such a cute Krishna on the swing. All these beautiful paintings are there around this temple. And then we leave the temple and we enter into a beautiful garden that goes to Sriji Mandir. And this used to be one of the only things that I ever saw the government maintain. It was always beautifully maintained. Now the new government, they're maintaining the whole of Braj. They're spending crores and crores of rupees fixing up all the kunds and places and everything. So that beautiful garden is still there, but now it's become filled with so many merchants and children begging and everything. Anyway, nice garden is there. And you'll see a place halfway down the path. They claim that's where one great devotee, Narayan Bhatta Goswami, he wrote this Braj Bhakti Vilas, describing all the mantras and everything, and what charity to give, everything about the whole of Brajadam. So Narayan Bhatta Goswami found the deity of Radharani there at that place, and now they placed her in the temple. So then we come to the Sriji Mandir. And there's this huge palace, and now, like I said, it's been made double by this Janaki dance. Especially Radhastami is a big festival there. And if you want to see that Radhastami festival, then you have to come the night before and spend the night. Because around midnight, or now I think it's probably even 10 o'clock nowadays, there's so many people that come and they lock the door. Even the pujaris can't. They send the milk and yogurt and ghee and butter, everything up by hook, by ropes like this, because they won't let even the pujaris in. And the police chief is there, superintendent of police, and he gives his mobile to somebody outside, one of the police outside. You can't call him. There's no way you're going to get in. And you see how to really celebrate Radhastami. People, first there's a big pool bungalow in the last arti, very beautiful pool bungalow is there, flower house. Then they close down after the last arti, and then everybody dances and sings their heart out the whole night. This is how to celebrate Radhastami. We can learn this lesson. And there's like 5 different groups in that courtyard. One in the center, one in each corner like this. And sometimes one becomes big and everybody goes to that one. Then they go to this one. Then the middle one becomes prominent like that. And all night long they're dancing and singing. And on the new backside courtyard, there's these people all dressed up in beautiful Rajasthani outfits, with skirts with at least 10 meters of cloth, maybe 20 meters of cloth. And when they're spinning around, and the cloth is going like this, and you look and say, wait a minute, is that a guy? Or is that a girl? You suddenly realize it's a guy. But they dress up like this, beautiful, and all the 5 corners are doing this dancing and spinning around all night long. Then, around 2 o'clock in the morning, all the Brahmins from Barsana come, and they sit down facing each other. Hare Krishna. And they have these songbooks with big Hindi akshars, this big. And they sing all these beautiful Janmashtami songs. The Brahmins are facing each other. And the whole darshan mandap is closed off, because they will bring Radharani and Krishna outside for the Abhishek. So that's all closed off with a big curtain. And everybody's and they lock the door so nobody else can come in. And it's beautiful. Bhajan is going on, Samaj they call it. And suddenly about 4 o'clock in the morning, the curtain begins to rustle. And everybody just jumps to their feet. I was there one time, long time ago. I'd just come back from traveling Sankirtan. I was trying to get somebody interested to go to for Radhastami, and I said, no, we'll go tomorrow. I said, tomorrow you won't be able to get in, you have to go tonight. Then I met my old friend, 65-year-old gentleman from Singapore called Senan. He said, do you wonder where I'm looking everywhere? I want to go to Barsana. I said, Chalo, let's go. So I just come from traveling Sankirtans. I was tired, so we just went up on the Ravino secret place and we went to sleep. And then we came down when the Samaj started, and we were just on the very far edge. We just managed to come through the doorway and it was just jammed with people. Suddenly the curtain rustled. Everybody jumped to their feet. And suddenly we found ourselves being taken right in front of the middle of the altar. And our feet had never touched the ground. And suddenly they flung open those curtains and started the Abhishek. And we went 15 feet over this way. We went 20 feet over this way. And I'm used to it. This is usual in Braj. Nothing special about this. So I was just laughing and having a good time. For Saint, he was having a heart attack. He's 65 years old. Then he saw me laughing, so then he just relaxed. And somehow the crowd kept us right in the center. The whole Abhishek, where they're doing Abhishek of Radha and Krishna. We were right in the middle. Singing old, all the Brahmins were chanting old Brishbasi songs. Very beautiful Abhishek. And then after the Abhishek, again they close the curtains, and then they open the door and everybody can come through, get some charge of it, and go out the other side. And holy there, oh my goodness. You'll see the picture on the wall. Because all the Brahmins on the 9th day before Gaur Purnima, they do Holi on the 9th, on the Nomi. And Dasami in Nandagam, Nomi in Barsana. Nomi, Dasami, Ekadasi in Banki Bihari, and then all hell breaks loose everywhere. So all the Brahmins from Nandagam come, and they come charging up the stairs. And on the balcony there, all around the ramparts of the temple, they're just squirting this beautiful yellow palasha flower water on everyone. But of course, unfortunately nowadays, throwing all this chemical powders and everything. And all the Brahmins come and sit in front of the Brahmins from Barsana. They just sit, because the whole courtyard becomes a Red Sea. And they just sit down in that Red Sea. And because what is it? Yeah, then they sit before each other like this, chanting old, actually they're joking back and forth. I don't know in South India, but in North India they like to make so many jokes at wedding time. They sing and make so many jokes. I don't know if they do it here, but North India is very common. So they're singing back and forth making jokes between the Nandagam and Barsana. And on each corner, there's a guy with a huge bag of color, and he takes a big cloth, and he fills it up, and he just goes like that. So big green cloud comes from this side, a red cloud cuts over from this side, pink cloud comes from this side, yellow clouds that come from this side. And that time of the year, the wind is blowing, like I said, so all these clouds, it looks just like you're in Golok Dham. And then the Nandagam Brahmins go charging down the hill. And at the bottom of the hill, they call it Rangali Gali. All the ladies from Barsana who are married in Barsana. If you're born there, you can't play. Only the Brahmanis who are married in Barsana, they come with big lattis. It's called Latmar Holi. This big, not those little tiny ones like this big. And they have their, what you call it, holy best outfits on, all beautiful silver and gold jari and everything, and little nice sparkly things fronting in front of their face. And then if you don't know Hindi, you're lucky, because they begin insulting the ladies from Barsana. And the men have all these turbans just filled with gamchas and gamchas and towels and things. And they have these, well, old days used to be rhinoceros skin. Now I'm sure it's just rubber. But they have it all decorated with, colored tin foil, all beautiful designs on their shields. Dal. And they go running downstairs, and the ladies come with those lattis. And you'll see 4 or 5 girls on one guy. They squat down and they bounce like this, with the thing on top. They have a special piece of rod that keeps it straight, from caving in, and they're And they got a lot of Shakti because you don't have a Maytag washing machine, you know. They're doing the laundry like this. They're making rotis like this. They got a lot of Shakti. And it's not the ladies beating their husbands because they're the ones who were married in Barsana. So they're sisters. So there's this female bonding going because they know what rascals they've been all year, so they just let them have it. I took Kushamataji there one time, which he was a member of the women's forum or whatever you call it, ministry of ISKCON. And she said, we could solve a lot of problems in ISKCON. And then one guy will jump out and he'll stop them, and then another guy gets down and and they just jump with full force. They jump off the ground, bing, and their gunga is going like this, and their sari is dancing, and all their bangles are chinging. Bam, bam, bam. And you don't dare get in the way. You know, everybody clears out. Some people let you go on their roofs for a fee, of course. You can watch from the roof, but if you go you get in the Rangili Gully, they'll come in and poke you, and you have to give some charity and they'll get free. And then the saints come and they distribute these special, what are they? Phagwa rotis, ladus to all the ladies. So this is the famous Latmar Holi. Then they repeat the same thing next day in Nandagam. So this is a little, we still didn't quite finish with Barsana, but I think that's the end of Barsana. If you've seen Holi once in your lifetime, you have to see it. The last time I went, that was many years ago. It took us 2 hours before we could get out of the parking lot. So I don't know what it's like nowadays, but anyway, once in a lifetime worth seeing. But cover your eyes well, that chemical powder. They're making lots of propaganda for natural colors, but anyway, it's still chemicals, and they make sparkly powders and all kinds of funny things. Hare Krishna. So we'll put our voice to rest here. If anybody has any question, we can try to answer them. Okay, here's Bhakta Mike.
Thank you for the wonderful katha again. You spoke about the Sriji Mandir. So is were these details self-manifested to Narayan Bhatt Goswami? Were these details self-manifested to Narayan Bhatt Goswami?
I know they were self-manifested. Maybe they were hidden during the Mughal invasions and hidden there, and he found them. And all the Brahmins claim to be descendants of him. Although he was Gaudiya, they're mainly Ballab Sampradaya, most of the Brahmins in Barsana.
These deities who used to take them on the parikrama and reveal the Dham, Narayan Bhatt Goswami? Narayan Bhatt Goswami used to reveal these deities which used to reveal the Dham.
No, that was Lokanath Goswami. He used to go around with Radha Minoji in a bag all around, and he would explain to him all the places where the Leelas happen. And most beautiful thing is during Julan Yatra. They start their Julan Yatra from Haryali Tej, the third day of the month of Shravan, right half of the month of Shravan, right after the Amavasya. Then they call it Haryali Tej, a beautiful silver jula that they bring out. And then for the next day, you've seen that little white chhatri down below the last staircase up to the temple. There's a little courtyard there, big courtyard, with a little white marble chhatri. For the rest of the Julan Yatra, they bring in the afternoon they bring Radharani and Krishna down to that little chhatri. And it's so beautiful because it's white chhatri, it's rainy season, so there's black clouds behind this white chhatri. Somewhere it's raining, somewhere the sun is shining, there's rainbows. See lightning over here and sunshine over here. Just an amazing scene. And they give out, what is the sweet they give out? It hasn't been for so long, I can't remember. They give a special sweet. And they have we'll tell one more story. They have one very interesting painting there. There's one time Radharani was very upset with Krishna, so she wasn't letting him come near. But within her heart, she's hoping to somehow rearrange things. And Krishna was there, and just down the street is, what is that called? That big lake? Not Pili Poker, beyond that. Eight-sided kund. Prem Mandir. Prem Sarovar. So Krishna was sitting there, Prem Sarovar. So he sent Lalita Visakha, you go there, somehow you arrange things with Srimati Radharani. He said, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't drink. I'm going to give up my life without Radharani's association. So they went there and they told Radharani, Krishna's very sorry, he can't eat, he can't drink, he can't sleep. He's going to give up his life if you don't come. And Radharani said, look, this fellow, he's not only black on the outside, he's black on the inside, he's black through and through. He has cheated me so many times, I'm not going to have anything to do with this black fellow again. So they went back and they told Krishna it's very difficult. So Krishna gave some secret instructions. So meanwhile, Rani was there pouting, also hoping that somehow things would be rearranged. So suddenly this beautiful flower girl came, Malini, selling her garlands. Very beautiful blackish flower girl. And she was singing very sweetly, oh, who will come and take my malas? Just by the touch of my malas, all their cares and anxieties will go away. And Lalita Visakha, they called Radharani's attention to that Malini. And she looked and she saw these beautiful malas in the basket. She said, nobody in the whole universe can make a mala like this. So Radharani said, all right, you call this Malini here. And so that Malini went there and she put the garland on Radharani's neck in such a way that her fingers will have to touch his neck, her neck. And Radharani thought, nobody has touched like this except one person. And she said, this Malini, her malas are very nice. And she is very sweet. But she's not decorated properly or dressed properly. Today we will take off her dress and dress her properly and and do her shringar properly. And then Malini began to back away. And so why are you afraid? We're all women here. Women are not to be afraid to be, dressed in front of other women. What are you afraid of? And they grabbed that Malini and they were holding her sari and they pulled her sari and they took her choli and she was fighting like anything, and somehow or other they burst open that choli and all these beautiful flowers began to fall down. And they saw that it was Krishna Chandra himself. And all the gopis began to laugh and clap and dance. How Radharani is such fool of this Krishna. So this beautiful painting is there, the flower girl bowing down before Srimati Radharani. So if there's no more questions, we can have nice kirtan. And afterwards we have our book, Rajlila, which we're only asking 400 rupees donation for, with more than almost 270 pages and beautiful color photos by our dear artist Bandhu. Very interesting photos. There's a place called Shergar, where it's not far from Ramagat. So we see Balaram. You know, Balaram had his Rasa dancer. So the most astounding deity Balaram is there. And then Sheshai Vishnu is there. Beautiful. And drawings and so many things. So, if anybody wants a copy of. Someone else can lead kirtan because it's a little. Yeah, bring the microphone to him.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Sa Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare